Master, we are ready.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone. How is it going? How's the chant going for you? Okay. When I come to the chant hall here, it's very good energy. That's what Peter was referring to last night. He's talked to him. He says, for him, it's about vibes. This is what Americans, how they phrase it. The vibes are good. The vibes are not good, and so forth. And he's referring to the energy, the chi, that is generated here. So, the reason I bring it, because of his comment, it reminded me of what we are doing. When you meditate like this, this process here that you're doing to yourself, enduring the pain, enduring the lack of sleep, enduring the discomfort and so forth, actually somehow has proven through the Chinese Chan Qi process to filter out, to help you get rid of the negative energies, the negative afflictions. Okay? If you're doing that, then you can go quite a ways. You can go very, very far. So that's why I must, for the big change here I'm seeing at DTT, I must give credit to Master Z here. He's had a big part in doing this because he brings in a very positive energy, very pure energy, very virtuous energy. Okay, this is what the Chinese system is about. They exude these virtues, okay, that people can absorb and benefit from it. So that's very important. This is why our present, even though we don't do much, we don't really, very few people know about us, but you come to the Buddha Hall and people feel differently. Okay. In contrast, I've been teaching for quite a while now. Been teaching. This is the longest I've done teaching for in my life, in anything at all. I've been teaching for over 15 years, 16 years, 17 years, and I find that there's a difference in the makeup of the people. There are some people who we can help you make progress through this process here. This process here is very effective at helping you make progress. Make progress to me, very simply, is to increase your samadhi power. You cannot beat around the bush. It cannot be faked. Your samadhi power cannot be fake. And it comes across in the form of being able to help you calm down, help you concentrate better, and so forth. That cannot be faked. And so yes, this process here, let me remind you, you come, and many people have come before you, and they benefited from that process. So they build up the samadhi power, and they build it up because they're able to let go of the negative. Of the negative Okay, the little manic ghost is misbehaving. Beat him up. Okay, yeah. You should know. So you improve in this process because without realizing it, you're letting go of a lot of bad habits. Am I making sense or not? You become kinder, you become nicer, become more patient, less angry. Yes? So that's a lot of negative energies and bad habits you're letting go. But then it will come a point in time where as you get higher and higher, and you have to face the deeper core values of yours. Am I going to harm people when they offend me? Am I going to be greedy and take advantage of people or not? Am I going to pour wool over people's eyes? Confuse them so that I can manipulate them. So all of you will be facing these core values that my teacher set out for us. The 6 principles. I added 1, 7 principles. And if you find yourself not willing to abide by those principles, then it's time to say goodbye. And that's what happened to those losers who left. You cannot hide it. You cannot pretend. Okay? So, yes, I certify some to be second stage Arhat, first stage Arhat, and so forth. I remember the early ones is a Catholic secretary. She got to second stage Arhat, and then got to the point where I said, this is it. She's gonna be uncomfortable because now is a range where you can no longer fake it. Now it touches your core values. What kind of person are you? Okay? You can fake it so far, up to a certain point. But then as you get higher and higher, you can no longer fake it. And that's what people sense when they near you. And so that's why tonight's lesson is keep that in mind. Okay? Master Shehon's teaching is very profound. What we're doing here is just mechanical, where we help you improve, bring up your samadhi power. But eventually, you still have to face yourself. Face your own core values. What kind of person am I? Okay? Do I adhere by the 7 principles? If you do, you can go very far. That's all there is to it. Questions or comments? So that's my experience. I can help you go so far, okay? And then eventually you will back out. You will reject me because your inner core values are threatened. And you can blame me for whatever the reason. It's okay. I'm a cheat, I'm a scammer, or whatever. It doesn't matter, whatever you say. You're still a loser. Excuse me. Is that too brutal? Yes, go for it.
Okay. Yeah. This is Gungang from Golden Forest Temple. I'm leaving tomorrow after lunch. So I want to express my gratitude to you all. Master, I'm so grateful for giving me such a nice opportunity and your everyday precious teachings. And I would like to thank Messrs. Sensi and Venerable Shenyo. They were so kind, generous, and supportive during my stay. Especially, I really appreciated that Venerable Shenyo made me many delicious Vietnamese foods. So it was like a feast every day. Because I love Vietnamese foods so much. And also I thank lay people from Golden Forest Temple for bringing us many good Vietnamese foods. And they were also very kind and friendly to me. And also thank you Korean lay people for kimchi. And I hope all of you have a fruitful result from this intensive retreat. Bye.
Okay, thank you, Gumgang Sunim. We're very pleased you took the time to come and join us for the Pho Chi and part of the Chan Chi. I hope that we don't be a stranger. Come back and see us. Okay? Thank you. All right, so they have kimchi and good Vietnamese food. Jeez. The Master Shinua Shanchi is that you're supposed to eat very bland food. But for us, we're spoiled. Okay, all right. Yes, there's a question, commentary at number 9.
A Di Đà Phật. A Di Đà Phật, thưa thầy. Is it any way, would you please point out my mistake so I know and hopefully I can change and correct it? Because sometimes I'm blindly don't know my. Thank you.
Yeah, of course I will. This is why people run away, because when I point out their mistakes, it hurts too much. They have to run away. Maybe because I beat up on you or something. I don't remember anymore. Some days when I'm in a bad mood, you know. So, anyway, all right. Anything else? You know, you look at him and he looks funny. You should videotape it, and you see that, you know, people say, "Oh my God, is that what they do for Chan Chis?" And you're making fun of him. Actually, it's clearing his head, and it's cleansing his body. So it's getting healthier, physically and mentally. Laugh all you want. Okay. Anyway, if you have no more commentaries, let's learn the real Dharma here from Master YongHua. Okay. Go for it.
咱们现在这个14个礼拜的禅期，早晨从3点钟开始，晚间到12点休息。
Now, our 14 weeks of Chan Chi, We start from 3 o'clock in the morning till 12 o'clock at night for resting.
已经不知不觉过去了6个礼拜，今天就是第7个礼拜的开始。
Imperceptibly, 6 weeks have passed. Today, the 7th week starts.
在这样的用功，我以前已经讲了。
We apply efforts like this. I have said this before.
不单外边的人不相信咱们这样能这样用功，就是俺们自己的人也不相信会这样的用功。
Not only do outsiders not believe we apply efforts like this, even our own people do not believe we can apply efforts like this.
但是，无论你相信不相信，咱们这儿已经过去了6个礼拜，做完了6个礼拜。
Whether you believe it or not, 6 weeks have passed already. We have sat for 6 weeks.
虽然有的时候人是多，有的时候人少。
Although sometimes there are more people, sometimes there are fewer people.
不过修行，一个人也是一样的修行，1万个人也是一样修行。
However, cultivation, with one person we cultivate the same way, with 10,000 people we also cultivate the same way.
自己给自己修行，不是给其他人修行。所以在已经过去这个6个礼拜，咱们成功和没有成功，不必管它。
We cultivate for ourselves, not for other people. Now 6 weeks have passed already. It doesn't matter whether we are successful or not.
在将来的还有8个礼拜，这8个礼拜一定要有人开悟，要有人课本参。
We still have 8 more weeks. In this 8 weeks, someone must become enlightened. Someone needs to break through the original investigation.
我相信以前说1个礼拜搬家，2个礼拜搬家，3个礼拜搬家。
I said before that we would move on the first week, on the second week, on the third week.
咱们搬到4个、5个、6个礼拜，现在6个礼拜也没有搬家。我相信呢，
It was moved to the 4th, 5th, and 6th week. Now in 6 weeks, we still haven't moved yet.
第8个礼拜一定会搬的。这回你如果不搬呢，你们大家可以买验书，我陪你们验书。
I believe in the 8th week, we would for sure move. This time, if we don't move, you can buy inspection books. I can accompany you in inspection.
到那个新的地方，咱们那个地方呢，本来不是新的，咱们因为开始搬的那东西。
We will move to our new place. It was not new originally, but because we will start moving over there,
可以说是新的。那么有很大一个地方，你到那边呢，这个头一次在那儿修行。
you can say that we are lucky to have such a big place. After moving there, it will be our first time cultivating there.
我相信这个一定会，有人得到，有人开悟。
I believe someone will certainly attain the way, and someone will become enlightened.
因为新的地方，人们的用功啊，用的心也诚一点。
Because this is a new place, so our mind will be more sincere when we apply effort.
在这用了6个礼拜、7个礼拜，第8个礼拜搬到新的地方去用功。
We have cultivated here for 6, 7 weeks, and on the 8th week, we will move to the new place and apply effort there.
现在就是用功，咱们来做一个比赛，看看谁先开悟。
We will apply effort there. We will have a competition to see who becomes enlightened first.
谁先开悟啊？谁就做美国佛教的领袖。
Whoever becomes enlightened first can be the leader of the American Buddhism.
你们要不愿意做领袖的人呢，就不必开悟，开悟了也。
Whoever doesn't wish to be a leader doesn't need to become enlightened.
也可以说没有开悟。要愿
Even if you become enlightened, you can say that you are not enlightened.
愿意做领袖的人呢，你没有开悟的，但是不可以说开悟。
Whoever is willing to be a leader, if you are not enlightened, you can't say that you are enlightened.
开悟的可以说不开悟，没有开悟的不可以说开悟。
The enlightened ones can say that they are not enlightened, but the unenlightened ones cannot say that they are enlightened.
因为什么呢？有绕无，实绕虚。
Why is that? Existing is like non-existing. True is like false.
有啊，这个有就是开悟，好像没开。 不要去本来真。
Existing is like non-existing. This existence is being enlightened, but as if not enlightened.
时点，他已经得到这个佛的智慧。
True is false. Originally, it was real. You've already attained the Buddha's wisdom.
你还可以客气一点说啊，我还是无所得，可以这样说。
But you can be polite and say, I haven't gained anything yet. You can say so.
Okay. Let's stop there and let's backtrack and discuss what the master has just taught them decades ago. 55 is where I'm trying to get back to. Okay, here we go. So, Master YongHua, this is pretty early in American Chan here, in Buddhism here in this country, in the early 70s back then. And so he brought this 100-day Chanchi Dharma to the US. That's why it's 14 weeks. All right? So 14 weeks, 14 times 7 is about 98. So it's about 100 days. They probably end up adding 2 more days. Okay. And their schedule is pretty grueling, from 3 in the morning till midnight, just like ours here. Yes, go ahead, JMT.
네, 영어 유튜브에 올라온 한국어 질문입니다. 제이제이님 질문입니다. 법문 유튜브 라이브로 보고 있는데 다른 일이 있어서 소리를 들을 수 없는 상태입니다. 그냥 영상을 보고 있는 것만으로 도움이 될까요? 그리고 현재 이직 준비 중인데 제게 맞는 직업이 있는지 모르겠습니다. 새로 배워도 이걸로 돈을 벌어 살 수 있을지 몰라 힘듭니다. 그리고 직업 교육을 받는 과정에서 돈이 없어서 힘듭니다. 항상 화두가 돈으로 가는데 이것에서부터 벗어나기 어렵습니다.
Master, there's a Korean question in Korean. There are 2 questions. Number 1, right now, because due to the technical difficulty, I can't hear the Dharma talk. But is it okay just watching the video? Would that be helpful? And the next question is, currently I'm preparing to change my job, but I don't know which job is right for me. It is difficult because no money to learn new vocational education. Always my attention goes to money, and it is difficult to escape from that thought. Thank you.
And what's the question?
I believe she's asking what she needs to do, JJ. First question was not able to hear, just watching the video. Would that be helpful?
Watching video and with the sound, but she cannot hear the sound.
Yes.
Or can she read? Are there subtitles? People, when they watch movie nowadays, Sangwok Sunim, they turn on subtitles. You want to learn English? It's faster. You don't watch movies, do you? Never mind. So, do we have subtitles on the videos? If you have videos with subtitles, it's if possible, turn on the subtitles. Come again. 9.
It's not the same day, but the next day they have it.
Next day they have it, and they have subtitles. Perfect. Then if you can't hear, read the subtitles. It's faster. Okay, even though the seeds are there in your consciousness, but if you have more, like the subtitles, and you can hear the sound, then the seeds will mature faster. Okay, so it's still okay to listen without the sound, but it's not as desirable as productive if you were able to hear the sound or read the subtitles. Okay, better seeds, and they will mature faster. All right, second question, changing jobs. Well, I don't know what to do myself. Remember, I'm really homeless and jobless. Okay, I move from place to place. Okay. So I feel unqualified to give you career advices. Okay, maybe other people who have a job can help out and pitch in. What can she do? Especially Koreans. Of course, we all have to worry about money. And then the reason we worry a lot about money is because we don't have enough. Enough of what? Enough of blessings. When you have enough blessings, you no longer worry about money. All right? As a general rule of thumb. Anyone else can help her out with career advices in Korea? I'm, even career advices here, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't trust my advice at all. But in Korea, so much less is the case. Don't listen to me. I know nothing. Anyone can help her out? Sorry, we can't help you. Second question. All right. So this Chanchi here is kind of interesting because it's 100 days. Yes, Wei Mao.
Thank you, Master. For the second question, I can only speak from my own experience. I found that whenever I'm in between jobs, it's really helped me to come to the temple and to donate my time and help the temple how I can during that time. It helps me focus on something constructive, takes away some of the worry and the stress, and I find myself, like you brought up at the beginning of lecture, kind of immersed in good vibes, which is tremendously helpful in difficult times. So I just wanted to offer that experience.
And it shows when you interview, when you go to the interview, you exude this positive energy, whereas the other candidates would, their energies would not be as wholesome, as good, if you will, in general. Okay. Yes, absolutely. You don't necessarily have to go to the temple to help, like him, because he can't meditate. So, but you can meditate more, and it will help you interview better and see clearer. In terms of career advices, I don't know enough, but in general, when I need to make an important decision, I meditate a lot. I don't do anything. I will gather information, pick up information, and then I would meditate. Okay, talk to people and read and whatever, whatnot, and then I would meditate, and then that's when I make a decision. So meditate a lot. Meditation helps as well. And if you can't meditate, go plant blessings. create blessings for yourself. Okay? Blessings will eventually translate into money, into material things for you, into health, physical health, mental health, and so forth. Okay. So this is what worldly people don't realize. Worldly people, their measuring sticks are kind of off. In a worldly perspective, they measure in terms of how much money you have, your social status, and so forth, your reputation, your fame, and so forth, your looks, and so forth. Well, actually, in Buddhism, the real yardstick is blessings and virtue. This is why the great Mahasattvas that we just finished doing a Fochi, and at the end of the day, we did a great transference, and you see, when we bow to the Mahasattvas, okay, the big Mahasattvas, Mahasattvas also have big ones and then small ones as well. And we bow to them, and the sea-like assembly of Mahasattvas that we bow to. And they're adorned with, they have the two adornments. And the two adornments are, number one, blessings. Number two, virtue. Even Mahasattvas need to cultivate blessings. He has a chance to cultivate virtues when you don't have the same chances. Okay? That's why if he feels that I owe him a favor, he can leave anytime he feels like. You see? Yeah. The virtues you have to have an opportunity to cultivate before you can develop it, before you have plenty of it. Okay? And those are two adornments. You always can use blessings and virtue. All right. So create more blessings is a short suggestion. Summary: create more blessings. And the advice is very, very, very good. If instead of worrying and fretting, getting depressed and so forth, be productive. Do something with your time. Do something productive. Okay? And plant blessings. A very good place. You can go do charity work, help out with the museums, help out with the orphanages and so forth, or help out the temple. All those good places. Or you can go, here in the U.S., we have a slightly different system than in Korea. Here, we go help out various organizations. We work for free. You go, like, for example, there is a certain organization you want to get in, and you go and offer to work for free as a receptionist, as a mail delivery boy, and so forth. And they get to know you, and when the opening happens, then you have a chance because you know the inside. You have insider information. So that's the U.S. system. But in Korea, I'm not sure you have such a thing. YouTube.
From Samson Lau, Master, can you share more about how you use meditation to make an important decision? Should we contemplate our decision or possible decisions when meditating before an important decision?
Good question. What you do, what I do, is I'm different from you. Because I solicit information. I ask people, what do you think? Okay? Because I need the input. Why? Because my decisions are to serve them. So I better know what they want, what's important to them. and so forth. So I solicit information, I do readings, and I do research. Okay, and then I meditate. What do I do during meditation? Any type of meditation. It doesn't matter. You don't have to sit there and say, make money, become a billionaire, become a trillionaire. You don't have to do that. You just meditate. And naturally, the solution will come to you. You don't have to think about it. Just meditate. This is what happens is that subconsciously, you have this big issue, big problem in the back of your mind. It's cooking there in the back of your mind. No matter what you do, it bothers you. Does it ring a bell? Getting married, huh? It bothers you. Making a big investment, it's, ooh, I could lose a lot of money. Huh? And so forth. All the major decisions in life, the big decisions for you, actually, it really bothers you. It's cooking. It's stewing in the back of your mind. So no matter what you do, we keep on coming back. Okay? So that's why don't worry about it. You simply meditate. And because it's stewing here, eventually during your meditation, you say, that's it. That's what I should do. Okay? Another way you can meditate is you recite mantras, you bow, or in some cases, if you're into it, you read sutras. The Mahayana Sutras, don't read Hinayana Sutras, read Mahayana Sutras. Because the wisdom for Mahayana is much more all-encompassing, much more well-rounded. The wisdom is much more well-rounded, so the solution is far better. Okay. Hinayana is too narrowly focused. Okay, so I would read Mahayana Sutras. Anything that interests you. Or I would listen to Master YongHua's Dharma talks, for example. Okay, while driving, while sitting there. Okay, and because when you do those things, the above things, you actually are activating the Buddha's wisdom inside of you. And if you listen, for example, to people like Master YongHua, who has the Buddha's wisdom, that has tremendous samadhi power, actually is very helpful. Extremely helpful. Okay, I hope it helps. Anything else? Okay, now, going back to slide 55. So the schedule very grueling, which is how the Chinese do it, is in their culture. Okay? Similarly, like the Koreans, they do it. They're very tough. I go to Korea and we ask them to get up at 3 or 4 in the morning. It's the room is full. Yes or no? And I remember I was there last summer. In summer? Spring. I was there in the spring, and there is Korea, when we got there, has a lot of COVID cases. It's spreading like crazy. As soon as they lowered the requirements of a COVID screening, everyone had COVID-19 or COVID-21, we don't know, whatever it is. And so everyone's walking around, coughing. They walk in front of me. I pretend to be there one session, okay? and they walk in front of me and they cough. And the next time, so they're very tough. And that's the process, folks. This is the grinding out process of the cheese. It's very effective. But guess what? Here in America, we're weak. Okay, look at you. How many of you are here at 3 in the morning? I still hear people at the house at 4 or 5 or 6 or 7. Huh? So, but it's a very effective way of the process. That's why I admire this process. That's why we preserve it. Okay, so for those of you who are able to handle it, you get a lot out of it. Trust me. Yeah. You too.
From Alex, Master, last week, Venerable YongHua talked about an abbot who had some gongfu but little fupao or blessings. Can you please explain how that is possible?
I don't know what he means. Kung Fu is equivalent to blessings. He's probably referring to the fact that the abbot's temple didn't have a lot of things. Yes. The temple has a lot of things because the abbot's blessings. That's why I do. When I need to eat good food, I nominate someone who has good food blessings to be abbot. That's my secret. When I was abbot at Lu Mountain Temple and Wei Mountain Temple, no good food. So I learned my lesson. So I started nominating the other disciples to be abbot, and sure enough, good food came immediately. Okay, so I think he's probably referring to not enough blessings because he didn't have a lot of amenities, like marble bathrooms and nice cars, or amenities for the guests and so forth. But I'm glad that Samson pointed it out. I not for 1 second believe that the abbot has no blessings. He said it, Master YongHua said it to illustrate a point. But there's also another point, countervailing point. Assets manifest because they want to. The abbot wants it. He doesn't want it, then the blessings manifest as material things when you want it. Okay, you don't want it. Just because you don't have material things doesn't mean you lack blessings. Okay, but that's a Chinese style of speaking. He says, I must not have enough blessings because I don't have a car, I don't have a job, my clothes are so poor, no designer clothes, and so forth. But it's a lot more behind the scenes than you think. Okay? All right. So this is going back to slide 55. So it's a beautiful process. I hope that we'll be able to continue to do that. Okay. However, it's very grueling. So it's very tough. So that when he says here later, he says, let me continue. He says 14 weeks, so it's about 100 days right there, and that's Chinese Chan style. We're 400 days. That's according to the Chinese Chan tradition. 100 days, that's when you're supposed to become enlightened. Okay, a lot of people have a better chance to become enlightened. That's why 100 days. Yeah. And they went through 6 weeks already. And he says people have been working hard like this, which is remarkable. Probably primarily his left home disciples. No hippies back then would be able to keep up with them. And some lay people, but most primarily his monks and nuns. And outsiders, he said on slide 58, that would be impossible. And that's what happened to me when I started teaching about 15, 16 years ago. I started imitating Master Hsuan-Hua's Chanchi here. And back then at Lu Mountain Temple, a lot of the regulars were Vietnamese. Over half are Chinese, Vietnamese, American. And so they quickly disappeared because it's too tough for them. And so it's quite difficult for people to keep up. And they sat for 6 weeks. Sometimes more people, sometimes few people. Probably on the weekends and holidays, as more people would show up for a few hours, or half an hour here and there. And then sometimes a few people. It says not more people, it says lots of people. Sometimes there's few people. Okay? Yes. It's not more people. It's lots of people. 人多, 人少. People are a lot. People are not a lot, are few. However, it doesn't matter, he says. And we're not cultivating because people are here. We follow the method, and whether there are people accompanying us or not is irrelevant. We just do. We follow. We are very lucky to have the opportunity to practice this Dharma that's proven to be very effective in training the Chinese. So he brought that to the United States. Okay? And a lot of his disciples subscribed to it. So they cultivate, he said, you cultivate ourselves, not for other people. It's not a show. Okay, it's about you. Cultivation is very personal. And you don't worry about what other people think. And you carry it out. Away from the temple, you worry less about what people think of you. Mm-hmm. And it's not about success or not. So what does he mean by not successful or no achievement? If there's no achievement, we don't care. What does it mean? This is so anti-American. Americans, we do it because unless there's success, unless there's accomplishments, would be a waste of time. So anti-American, so un-American to say that we don't care if you're successful or not. Yes, Way Mountain. Wouldn't that be a waste of time? It would be to let time pass in vain, like the Master likes to say.
Okay, thank
you,
Master.
Ocho.
Thank you, Master. I remember when the Master Hsuan-Hua was saying about the guys, the monks, the venerables that were going 3 steps, 1 bow, I think it was from here to San Francisco, and he told them, you guys are not going to get enlightened. And they did. You told us that one of them, they did. So I think it's the same. It's just letting go of the attachment of really any reward, so then you can really get to that point.
Okay, so don't be attached to success. Anyone else? Way Mountain.
Thank you, Master. I believe that was my first question to you ever at Blue Mountain Temple was, how do I know if I'm making success? And something I found out the hard way is when you meditate and you sit still, that's success right then, in that moment. Everything that happens after that is success. But until you experience it and go through it and do it a lot, it may not feel like success. And that was why I had originally asked you that question all those years ago.
Wow. Did I answer that way? I'm impressed with myself. What happened to Emily? She is dead or too tired? She left already?
Master, she left already.
Ah, okay. I wonder, is there something missing? Is there some kind of energy that's missing? That's why I was looking around. What is missing here? What is missing? Turns out the police woman energy. Okay, yeah. So the reason I thought of it's related to it. See, police woman is retiring next year. You've probably heard of it, yes? And she's planning on becoming a nun, here. Way Mountain, and nothing is cast in stone. We don't believe it until it happens. Okay. There are plenty of choices. Good temples, much bigger temples, much more comfortable, richer, and so forth. Much nicer. And so it's kind of interesting that, this lady here who is coming from police force, wanting to do the unpoliced thing. And I meant to tell her that to cap it off, this is what I learned from a colleague of mine when I was working at IBM. I used to have a colleague who is Jewish. Jewish people are very smart. Okay, I was stupid. Okay, so he very patient. He used me because I'm very good technically, but I'm an idiot when it comes to interpersonal relationships. Too raw, too arrogant, too self-absorbed. So he taught me many, many things. One of the things he taught me is that you don't know how to say goodbye. People don't know how to say goodbye. So even if Emily or M, I like to call her M-E-M, not the letter M, that's me. The other M is E-M, okay? Okay, so it's even if you're successful, you need to learn to know how to say goodbye. So it stuck in my mind. I said, wow. So we completed this training, we completed this project, and now it's time to say goodbye. And he says that most people don't know how to say goodbye. And that's all that stuck with me. It taught me this is how Jews are. They tell you half of the story and leave you hanging. He never said, this is how you ought to say goodbye better, for example. No, it's just for them, it's like, I give you a tip, you should be happy that you have a problem. You don't know how to say goodbye. Yeah? So how do you say goodbye? I'm asking you now. Sayonara? Someone say, hey, I'm out of here? losers? Huh? How do you say goodbye? Remember, these are cops. You don't want to offend them. Huh? How do you say goodbye? See? A riddle, like Peter. He talks in riddles. This guy also talked in riddles. He says, you don't know how to say goodbye. So that's why I thought, for some reason, when I saw M, and I see that she's preparing, preparing to go into a different world that hopefully she'll be successful at. Okay, so she wants to cap off the successful stage here of her career successfully as well, right? So one part of that is not simply just put in the hours and patiently endure and buy your time, but how can you successfully close it out? I don't know what my ex-colleague meant by saying goodbye. Worldly people don't know how to say goodbye. But I thought of it and says, how should we say goodbye? Think longer terms. What remains is the impression you leave behind. Yes? People meet you and say, I like you. I don't like you. And so forth. Yes? It's natural for all of us. Yes? If you want to cut it off, you have to learn how to say goodbye. You want to leave, you have to know how to say goodbye properly. Yes? It's a very Buddhist thing, not worldly thing, folks. You are, like it or not, Mahayana representatives in sheep's clothing. I don't think they can translate that. Sheep's clothing. Too American for them. Okay, you are representatives of Mahayana. You cultivate Mahayana. Don't be like a Chinese. I'm going to say goodbye in a Chinese way. Okay? Yes, Way Mountain. That's hear from the Americans.
Hi, Master. It's Sister Victorina.
Yes, hello, sister. Hallelujah.
Amen. I think the way to say goodbye in a professional relationship is professional relationships are built with people, and people are impressed when you are actually sincere. Even if you're joking or having a good time, if you share something of yourself with other people, they remember that. And for myself, when I have to close something out, I always let the person know that how much I enjoyed working with them or whatever it may be. And I thank them. I sincerely thank them.
Okay, thank them, and okay, give a good impression, a lasting impression to yourself. Anyone else? Yes. Moonsong, is that right?
Yeah, Moonsong.
Moonsong.
Yeah.
Right. Excuse me, I will work on it. At least I'm close enough. Before I call you wrong, I apologize. Okay. Somehow, I don't know how my notes, I say that's something else. Never mind. Go ahead, sir.
어떻게 굿바이 할 거냐라고 하셨는데, 뭐 저 같은 경우에는 그 삶을 떠날 때 그 죽음을 어떻게 준비해야 되는지에 대한 질문이라고 생각이 됩니다. 그래서 저 같은 경우에는 이제 제가 삶을 떠났을 때 저를 알고 있는 사람들이 저에 대해서 어떻게 기억하고 있을지를 생각을 하겠습니다. 그리고 뭐 그 사람들과의 안 좋았던 일이나 아니면 그 사람들과의 뭐 해결해야 될 일이 있다거나 한다면 그런 것들을 이제 용서하고 화해하는 그런 시간을 가져서 좋은 굿바이를 할 것 같습니다.
So when you say how to say goodbye, I think I think about this similar to living life and how to prepare death. Before living life, I think about the people who's around me, how they know about me, and then how they would remember me. And if there was something that not a good things among us or something need to be resolved, we will talk about it and I will forgive and then try to resolve the problem. That's how I would want to live life.
Very good. Excellent. I like the analogy. It's very wise. Where did the wisdom come from? Anyway, which reminds me of these movie scenes where you have the funerals, like in New Orleans, they march down, the funeral march, and one step at a time, like in a James Bond movie. Anyone see Diamonds Are Forever or something like that? I don't know. Never mind. You guys, I feel so lonely sometimes. I talk to you and you have this blank stare at me. Oh yeah. Yeah, I know nothing registers. It's so sad. Yeah. So anyway, so I remember the scenes where in many movies, I don't know you remember, when you go to someone's funeral in the movie scenes and they get together, they stand together and they raise a glass and say, to the deceased, and drink it, right? And then, like in Russia or in Eastern Europe, in Europe, they throw down the glass into the chimney or the fireplace or something. Rings a bell, anyone? See, a lot of people raise a toast to the deceased and say, to John, to Carla, and so forth, right? Yes, Wei Mao.
Okay. Hello, Master. I thought I just recently saw 2 examples of how people say goodbye. I think the most recent one was probably Sunim earlier, how he said goodbye to us, the way he did it, everything he did. And then another one was like a week ago. I know somebody at the end of the last day of the job, she bought like $300. She went to this place, really, really super good taco. She brought it to the office and treated everyone. And then so the people in the company were so shocked. But then they were like, oh. And then she said, oh, I do this at all my job place. I know how to, I just do that. And she spent like $300. And I was like, oh, wow. That's why you have good relationship with people. I'm not suggesting people spend a lot of money, but in this case, this lady, I could feel that she was sincere about it. I know some other people in terms of normal relationship, like people just do it, fake it, like there's certain protocol that you would do say something really nice, you would buy a lot of treats for people, just, to build relationships, to love it so that people like you. That's a different one also. I just like to share that. Thank you, Master.
Thank you very much. Amen. Yeah. you know, she's also improved. I don't know. She talks differently now. Anyway, yes, Wei Mountain.
Master, I have 4 examples of it, 2 from Buddhist and 2 from personal experience. 2 of them is that I read from your Bequeathed Teaching Sutra and the 6th Patriarch Platform Sutra is that before the Buddha leave, he really cared for us. He gave us his final instruction is that we show the care and the love for the people that we want to. And the 6th Patriarch also, before he leave, he gave us the no mark verse and to his disciple and saying goodbye to them. And then before he left at the 12 o'clock at night, he say, I'm leaving. And then he's showing his kind and compassion to the people that he care. So that's the part. And sorry. And for me, before I left my Vietnamese job, I spend time, I make sure I spend time with individual of them, and then I say I'm leaving. And so for a week, and so I left. And then my supervisor recently leave, and she make a really remarkable thing in my life. So we representing the bilingual people with different culture. So the day that she left, we brought a lot of food with different culture together, and we eat and we share the meal with each other, and we saying goodbye to her.
Very good. Anyone else? Yeah, just a reminder. Basically, each one of you will be different, but there's a reminder that you've been practicing with us, and like it or not, you are the representatives of Mahayana, American Mahayana. So leave a lasting impression. So, for example, in those very good examples, in an example of a policewoman, yes, you too.
From Snow Wu, I was wondering if she can read the Chinese herself. One of the most famous Chinese poem about goodbye. Very quietly I take my leave. As quietly as I came here, quietly I wave goodbye to the rosy clouds in the western sky. Very quietly I left. As quietly as I came here, gently I flick my sleeves. Not even a wisp of cloud will I bring away.
How poetic. Wow. That's a beautiful, beautiful poem. Thank you for sharing with us. I hope they can be translated into Vietnamese and Koreans and Espanol and Portuguese. Okay, so the point here is that not just saying goodbye here, but that this is an example that you are representatives of Mahayana, and therefore you want to leave a good impression, a good lasting impression. Okay, whether you say goodbye for 1 day, or 2 days, or a year, or forever. Okay, because basically, in her case, taking her case, for example, she's been there with them for almost 20 years. Now she's embarking on a new journey, and she's basically now a person that they remember as a Mahayana nun. So the way she says goodbye will help make or break the image of an American nun, Mahayana nun. And so to say goodbye, as per my ex-colleague says, is only not one event. To me, since it's planned already, she has this in mind already, or when you plan to leave already, you give 2 weeks notice, for example, at work, okay? Or you plan to stop there to pick up some skills and move on to the next position, next job. Okay. You know, you have a plan in mind already, okay? So part of that should also include saying goodbye. And to say goodbye basically is to leave a lasting impression, a good impression. Whether you meet with a colleague over a planning session and so forth, okay, work, and then you come back to your office and work, and they leave. That's also learning how to say goodbye as well, yes? What's the mechanism? Leave a lasting impression. Like Ahong successfully pointed out, that you care for them. And you want to help them. And you're a person who believes in doing good. That's all. Yes, Way Mountain.
Okay, I'm gonna try to read Snow's poem of saying goodbye. 轻轻的我走了，正如我轻轻的来，我轻轻的招手，作别西天的云彩。悄悄的我走了，正如我悄悄的来，我挥一挥衣袖，不带走一片云彩。That's a poem.
Oh, okay. You should say the end, otherwise. You agree or disagree? It's not about that moment. It's not about success here after 6 weeks or after 14 weeks. It's not about success. It still goes on. Life still goes on. Relationships is still there. Oh, I forgot about the closing, the punchline for the movie scenes where they throw the whiskey glass into the fireplace and glass to Norm and throw it in there, and then to Norm, and then drink it, then together throw into the fireplace. And now, as to tonight, all of a sudden I remember that scene. I said, why would the Westerners say goodbye that way? Have you figured out? Have you thought about it? Hey, Peter, you are the James Bond movie addict. Huh? Have you thought about why? Why would Westerners do that? Do Asians do that or not? In Korea, in Vietnam, in Taiwan, no? Right? No, right? Only Westerners do that. They drink and then they throw into. Yes, Way Mountain.
Thank you, Master. Yeah, I mean, breaking glass has significant meaning in Western culture. For instance, at Jewish weddings, part of the ceremony is they wrap a glass in a cloth, and then the bride and the groom will step on the glass. Everybody says Mazel Tov, and then they're married. So it's like a transformation, or like a change.
Okay.
But I'm really curious if Emily will get a proper Saha World cop send off, like in the best television show ever made, The Wire. It's about cops in Baltimore, and the way they retire cops is like an Irish wake, and so they lay their bodies out on the pool table in an Irish pub, and then everyone raises a glass and toasts them or criticizes them or tells a story like they're dead on the pool table because, you know, they're not a cop anymore, so they might as well be dead. They're dead to the, you know, they're moving on to the next life. And so I wonder if Emily will get the pleasure and the honor of having that kind of send-off from the Chicago Police Department.
Yeah, you can submit as a suggestion.
They've got a year to plan, so I'm sure they're cooking something special.
Yes, Wei Mao.
Thank you, Master. When I was in Colombia, I was part of the Boy Scouts, and we have a saying that live in a way that no one will notice when you are present, but everyone will notice when you are not present. So I think we have to say goodbye from the beginning by being kind, by being compassionate, because if we just show up the last day, it's not going to be a last impression on people. But if we do it every single day, then it's going to go a long way.
Very good, excellent. That's precisely my point. You don't say goodbye only in that very final moment. You say goodbye the moment you started. Because life goes on with or without you. And so going back to the toast to the dead, why do you think the Westerners do that? You think? Why do I even bother? You all Asians, you have no clues, do you? Yes, sir, 3.
그 영화 얘기를 하셔서 그 비슷하게 그 중국 영화 연문이라는 영화에 보면 그 연문이 그 무림에서 이제 떠나기를 결정을 하는데 그때 그 연문에게 그 원한이 있거나 연문과 해결을 해야 될 이슈가 있는 사람들이 모두 모여서 연문과 술을 마십니다. 그래서 술을 마시고 잔을 깨는 장면이 나오는데 지금 얘기하신 부분 들어보니까 그 영화가 생각나서 그냥 코멘트했습니다.
I remember, Master, there's this Chinese movie. There's this guy, Yangmun. He's leaving this place. And what they did was people gather. These people has maybe issues with him or whatever the problem. They all gather around him and then they drink and break glasses. I saw this scene from a movie.
All right, so the Chinese do it too. I think they copy from the Americans. JC.
Just for your information, Yeonmun is Ip Man. Everybody knows in America. Ip Man, the Chinese movie.
Who?
You know the Ip Man, IPMAN, Ip Man.
Okay. And who's that?
It's famous Chinese movie.
No, you said, who is Ip Man? Never mind, it's okay. Wei Mao.
Oh boy, thank you, Master. Ip Man, Donnie Yen. Yeah, he's super cool, very fast. But to answer your question, Master, I think it's kind of like Chan meditation. You have to do it to really know why you do it. Just speaking as a Westerner, I just putting this out there with all due respect. Mm-hmm. If you haven't stood by a roaring fire with men with beards holding whiskey glasses and toasting someone who died, mm-hmm. and all the emotion and the ambiance and the crackling flame, and then saying, "This whiskey glass shall be no more," and just heaving it at the fire in a sacrifice to your friend and your comrade. I mean, I can talk about it, but until you do it,
Okay, you have to be there. Yes, you have to do it. But my theory from an Asian perspective, yes, Wei Mountain.
Master, I would like to share a case presented to me about how the living say goodbye to a dead. So what happened was in Mexico, there was this guy who loves drinking and has like a bunch of friends drinking with him. And I think he knew when he was dying before he had cancer or something. But he told his friend, he said, when you come to celebrate my death after I die, you need to drink alcohol and be very happy, breaking glasses next to my coffin. And then there were this couple who are Christian, so they went there to pay respect. And she was really upset that these people were drinking there and not being respectful about that person's ritual. So the question presented to me in this case was a dilemma. Who's right? Is this lady right for being upset? Is that the right way to say goodbye to that person?
Okay. So you see, that's a very nice introduction to my point. My point is that I submit to you that the Westerners drink whiskey or raise a glass to the deceased and throw the glass into the fireplace because they say, good riddance. We want to forget about you. We drink to forget about you. Goodbye. Your presence in the world will not be missed. Just kidding. Oh, God, Lord. Don't you find it's kind of weird that, you drink and you throw that thing in the... It's weird. The Westerners, they do things to indulge themselves constantly. Okay. So that's why going back to M's leaving the police force for you. She has a year now, over a year, to start saying goodbye and leave a lasting impression, and so that when she goes to the new undertaking, they will miss her and say, wow, that's someone special who's going to do something even more special. That's the same thing. You meet someone at work. You work with them. You want to say goodbye? Same strategy. Someone special. Have class. Be gracious. All right? Okay, so going back to, it doesn't matter, on slide 62, it doesn't matter you're successful or not. That's correct. It's not about success. It's about be grateful, folks, to be able to have a chance to practice here. He won't say it, but I will say it for you. For him to put on this thing here, the Chan Chi, 14-week Chi here, is very disruptive. It takes a lot out of them. Okay, and so it's not about you don't worry about so much about yourself. Be appreciative of what is done for you. You see the connection between that and saying goodbye? And continuing, because we need to finish this, we have 8 more weeks, and he says someone must become enlightened. Again, is that Dharma there, where the insider knowledge is that you do 100 days of intensive training like that, you probably have a very strong chance of becoming enlightened. Okay, and I don't know what he referred on slide 63 here, the fundamental investigation, not original. Bun here is fundamental. Bun, fundamental in the sense that that's all you do. It's not originally. It's fundamentally your purpose is to investigate this thing. Fundamentally, this is all it's geared to do. Is that clear? So it's not original at all. Bun here in Chinese means fundamental. There's a difference between fundamental and original. Fundamentally, this is what you're supposed to investigate. Okay? Now, second point here, and that's this slide, is that I don't think they were practicing Huatou, so I don't know why is he referring to this investigation. Can here is the short for Can Huatou, meaning that you investigate the Huatou. Any questions or comments? Okay, so but he says what he means by here probably is that this is how you can become enlightened quicker, according to him. So that's how the Chinese like to say, Can Hua Tou, Can Chan. Okay, they investigate Chan, investigate Hua Tou. This is their style of speaking. I think it simply refers to Chinese meditation techniques. All right? You should not be stuck on the Hua Tou thing. I don't think the level, the teachers like Master Hsuan are stuck on Hua Tou at all. Unfortunately, when they translated this, it came across as Hua Tou. Okay? But I don't think it's necessarily Hua Tou. Okay? Hua Tou investigation. Okay? And I said before, someone needs to break through. So this is very good Dharma to help you break through in 14 weeks. He says, and then also interesting detail here that he's planning on moving. He bought a new building, much bigger building. The first building he had is very small and not impressive at all. So he found, I think, an old mattress factory. So they had to remodel inside by themselves. They didn't have a lot of money. And so that's what the delay was about. They thought it'd be done. But as typical all kinds of constructions, there will always be delays. So it's been delays for 3 weeks now. Okay? So the point here is that even during a Chan Qi, and they're still moving. You see, you do what you're supposed to do. So you see, the Dharma is very flexible. It's not like the Chan Qi here for 14 weeks, we don't do anything. Even with him, he says, we move. That's part of the Chan Qi as well. Make sense? See, the Dharma is very flexible. But he says, well, for sure, I believe within, with a couple more weeks, we'll move. And if you don't move, you can buy the inspection certificate, whatever, not books, shoe, here's certificate. And I accompany you in inspection, whatever it means. Probably inspector coming to inspect the remodeling, whatever. But it's not a new building. That's all he had. You make do. In cultivation, you don't complain. You don't say why he didn't say I'm starting Chan here in the U.S. or why am I not provided with the things I need right now? Okay, you just make do. He's a patriarch, and he had nothing. He started out with nothing. He sent him there as a patriarch, and they gave him nothing. He endured it as well, right? And what he had, the building he had back then, is just not impressive at all. And then he said, but count your blessing. You should say that we're so lucky to have a bigger place to cultivate. Okay? Yeah. And what's a better way to celebrate a new place by you becoming enlightened? So I hope someone will become enlightened, he says. Now, enlightened here, new concept back then with hippies in early 70s, mid-70s at most. Probably means someone reaching first stage arhatship. There's no way they can become enlightened in 14 weeks. Not these people back then. None of them will make it in 14 weeks. Okay? It takes a lot of preparation before that happens. But it says enlightenment here is from the Hinayana sense, first stage arhat. So we should be more sincere. Sincere, this is how you show gratitude. Okay, you should be grateful for having a big facility that becomes available for our Chanchi. To show your gratitude by cultivating harder. Okay. And again, when I was studying his Dharma, the word sincere really bothered me when they translated it. No one could explain to me what sincerity meant. It bothered the heck out of me. Yeah. And the Chinese keep on using, are you sincere enough? You need to do it with more sincerity. I don't know if Koreans do that too. Huh? Sunims. Korean people, do people talk to you like that? You have to be more sincere. Sincere is a big word. It's too abstract. Koreans, do Sunim tell you to be more sincere or not? No? No, okay. So it's a Chinese thing. And so we work hard here and we move to a new place, we work hard there as well. So don't lose track of it. Why we're here to cultivate, apply ourselves. Okay? And there is a lot of you, so to see who will be move the fastest to become enlightened first. And he says, once you become enlightened, then you can be a leader of American Buddhism. I think he means that this is first step. Eventually, you get higher and higher and higher, and you become leader of American Buddhism. Because point here is that he's making is that it takes wisdom. You just don't want to say, I want to be a leader of American Buddhism, I want to be a patriarch, when you have no wisdom whatsoever. And there's something called American Buddhism as well. It needs a new leader. And doesn't wish to be a leader, don't need to become enlightened. And you become enlightened, and you can say that you're not enlightened. The enlightened people, the unenlightened people cannot say that they are enlightened, okay? Because what is that? He's talking about 有, 若无, 实, 若虚. 有 here is to have. It's like not having, not existing. 有 here, not existing. 有 is to have. I have wisdom. I have reached enlightenment. I have reached that state of enlightenment. Okay? It's not existence. Existence here is in a different context. All right? It's very important for you Chinese people to understand your own language. Here, 有若无 here is to have. It's like not having. 实若虚 it's true, but it's like false. Okay? What does it mean? It means that to have, but like not having, meaning that you have reached enlightenment, but it's as if you haven't reached enlightenment. What does it mean? You work so hard for 14 weeks. You reach enlightenment, you say, I reach enlightenment as if I am reached enlightenment. And the worldly people would say, then why did you bother, sir? Yes, Wei Mao.
Thank you, Master. It means that you're not attached to it?
That's right. You may have it, but if you don't have it, it's the same as well. So your mind is not attached to it. That's all. All right? To have it, fine. You don't have it, it's fine. So ultimately, to have it's okay, not to have is okay as well. So that's why it's all the same. To have and not to have is the same. You don't discriminate anymore. You no longer are seeking to be successful anymore. If you have it already, you don't need to seek for it anymore. When you have success, you don't need to brag about it. You don't need to celebrate. You don't need to make a big deal out of it. What about next? True, but as if it's false. What does it mean? He says, was real, they have really attained the Buddha's wisdom. But it is false. What does it mean? It's the same principle, to have and as if you don't have anything. Meaning that it's true that you reach enlightenment, it's true that you're smart, it's true you have wisdom, it's true that you have some significant attainment, but it's false. Meaning what? Meaning that you know it's true. But if Heidi thinks it's false, it's okay too. Because Heidi is stupid. Heidi, no, it doesn't sound right. Heidi said, no, it doesn't sound right. Wait. You missed that. Heidi is no. JMT. Yeah, all the people I picked on her are the right person.
현주님 질문입니다. 자비를 실천하려고 하니 애들이 맨날 대들고 말을 안 듣습니다. 수행하는 사람은 쏘아보면 안 된다고 해서 안 쏘아보고 화를 안 내니까 못된 애들은 맨날 못된 짓하고 수업하는데 엎어져 잡니다. 규칙을 계속 지키지 않고 못된 짓을 합니다. 너무 참기가 힘듭니다.
어느 분이 얘기하셨죠?
현주 필라테스 티처.
Master, this comment is from Hyunju. It's really hard to practice compassion when students are fighting back. But I learned that as a cultivator, I should not stare them or I should not treat them badly. So there are bad students. When I'm doing a lecture, when I'm teaching them, they sleep or they don't follow. And it's really difficult for me to deal with them. Thank you.
Yes. And the answer is one word. Don't explain too much. I don't have a lot of time. What advice would you give her? One word. Endure. That's what it takes to teach people. You have to endure. Just like I have to endure you. Okay? So, true as if it's false, meaning that it's a fact. Yes, you are enlightened. Yes, you have wisdom. But others said, no, you're not enlightened. No, you have no wisdom. It's the same. It's the same person. But from this perspective, is that I'm enlightened. Your perspective, no, he's not. He's a scammer. Why does it matter? Huh? It's your opinion versus mine. It doesn't matter. If you want me to be blunt, who cares about what stupid people think or say? Well, they're stupid. They believe each other. In their wisdom, they will not. Okay? So the people who have it, let's not talk about wisdom because it's so clear, that when you cultivate wisdom, you find out the people will start criticizing you, slandering you, and accusing you of this, of that, and complaining and judging you and so forth. But that's because they're stupid. They're still the same. Okay? But let's take the example of rich people. It's true they have money. But what they do? They don't show it. They wear the same clothes as us. They drive a shabby car like us. Only us who have no money, who are poor, would drive around in a Porsche or a nice car. You know what I mean? The rich one said, no, I'm not driving a car. Okay, down south at least. Here, everyone drives a Porsche, BMW, and Mercedes. I don't call Tesla a nice car, okay? Anyway. I'm amazed at how many BMWs, M3, M2, M4 I see on the road. You don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, so you see, it's true that you have the money, you have it, okay, but you behave as if you don't. Because to you don't need to impress people anymore if you have it. Only the ones who don't have it will try to impress you. Okay? And so he said, that's why people say, people like Master Shih says, I'm not enlightened. I really don't have any enlightenment whatsoever. I don't know what you're talking about. Go learn from a patriarch. I'm just a short and ugly monk, Chinese monk. Okay, so that's the end of the slides. This is how far we got. So next time we start from 82. Final comments or questions? Yes. Four.
Dear Master, so when first I want to thank you for maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago when we do PSACs, my wife and I was able to take refuge under you. I really appreciate that. So when we taking the refuge, there was the asking for when we do precept that we were not able to lie. When you should not tell lie. So I want to question is if you tell lie to make other people not suffer, is this considered violates the precept? Because sometimes my mom would ask me if I go to the temple or where would I go, because I don't want her to worry that I go too far or whatever. I just say I go to the temples or I go to local temples instead of go all the way to DTT. Is it considered violate the precept?
Yeah, it's a violation. Lying is you intend to lie. You intend to lie to her. So I'm sorry. Even though it's from good intention, you still broke the precepts. All right? You should have said, no, I'm not going to a temple. I'm going to a cult. It's so true. Okay? But so you're lying, but it's repentable. And you can go repent and say, okay, forgive me, Father. It's been 5 weeks since I last confessed, made a confession. Been lying for 5 weeks now every day to my mother, and so forth and so forth. Okay, there you go. It's doable. It's recoverable. It's not the end of the world. Okay. Now, when you have wisdom, then it's different. When you don't have wisdom yet, you're still breaking precepts. But the people who have wisdom, they can lie. They're not breaking precepts. That's different. It's a different world. Okay. Buddhism is not the way you think. When you don't have wisdom yet, we teach you don't lie. When you have wisdom like the Buddha, he lies left and right. It appears like lies to kids. Hey, kid, come! I have a candy here. Come, this is very tasty. You see, because you do it out of wisdom. It's different. It's a different world. It's not like what you think. So that's why the precepts I like to remind you is for you who have no real wisdom yet. You need to get the fundamentals. And once you get the proper fundamentals, you open your wisdom a lot faster. And when you have real wisdom, okay, that's when you learn about something called expedience, where it involves lies, involves cheating, involves a lot of things. Okay? Yeah. But it's out of wisdom. And then they're no longer breaking precepts. You see, that's Mahayana. It's not like you think. It's it's only one path. Okay, it's there for you to get to the enlightenment a lot quicker. But beyond that, is a lot more for you to learn. So don't think you know everything. My teacher only taught my generation about getting there, and not beyond yet. It's one-sided. Buddhism is not one-sided. It's not high enough level to understand. They cannot handle the other side. That's why they're not taught. Way Mountain, comment.
Yes, Master question, quick question. For people who like me, come maybe once a day during the Chanqi, maybe 1 hour, half hour, 10 minutes, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever. What is your instruction? Should we try to follow the schedule, walk, sit, or should we do a longer sit?
It's up to you. Try your best.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next time.